Syrian army units ambushed terrorists between al-Qastal and Malula, killing and wounding scores of Jabhet al-Nusr members. While popular protests continue in different Turkish cities demanding Erdogan to resign on the background of corruption scandals of government officials. And the Austrian Courier newspaper says the government of Justice and Development Party in Turkey is threatened of divisions because of Erdogan's corrupt administration. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Art Television in Damascus. Russian Foreign Ministry called on all sides concerned to pressure the armed groups in Syria who escalate their terrorist attacks to force them to allow the delivering of humanitarian aid to the affected civilians. Alexander Lukashevich, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, said that the intensity of the armed conflict in Syria, basically instigated by the terrorist attacks and brutal acts of the armed men, don't give any indications of the possibility of their retreat. So Russia stresses on the effort regarding the humanitarian field, aiming at easing the suffering of the Syrians, adding that Russia calls on all partners to pressure the Syrian opposition to guarantee the free delivery of humanitarian aid to the affected persons. Meanwhile, experts from Syria, Russia, China, the United States, the United Kingdom, Norway, and Denmark agreed to cooperate on transporting the chemical weapons from Syria. Director of the Disarmament and Security Department at the Russian Foreign Ministry, Mikhail Ulyanov, said that everything went well. We agreed on coordinating maritime efforts on the transport of chemical weapons out of Syria to the international waters. Ulyanov said that Damascus' stance was constructive as it allowed Danish and Norwegian ships to enter its territorial water as to complete the transportation of chemical weapons. In Damascus countryside, a Syrian army unit ambushed terrorists, killing dozens of them, seizing their criminal tools and foiling others' infiltration attempts, as they have eliminated non-Syrian terrorists in several areas and destroyed their weapons.
In Damascus countryside, an army unit ambushed and killed dozens of terrorists affiliated to Jabhat al-Nusra between the areas of Malula and al-Qastal, and 80 terrorists were killed while dozens were injured. Many of the killed terrorists were Egyptians, Saudis, Libyans, and Pakistanis. Terrorists Al-Husseini Muhammad Fathallah, Ibrahim Hamad, Ibrahim Hamdi Abu Najah Hajras, Ibrahim Ali Madkour, and Ibrahim Arafa Muhammad al-Naqib, all of them Egyptians, identified among the dead, along with terrorists Wasim Bakir and Maysan Asad Rashid. A field commander said that terrorists' weapons, including RPG launchers, FAL sniper rifles, explosive belts, rocket launchers, and machine guns, were confiscated. Meanwhile, a military source said that the army units eliminated dozens of terrorists in the eastern Al-Ghouta in Damascus countryside, as another army unit clashed with terrorists in the city of Douma and killed a number of them. Among the killed terrorists were Mahdi al-Anzi and Salim al-Shumari, whereas 2 vehicles loaded with weapons and ammunition were destroyed in the area of Al-Hajariye. The Syrian army also targeted a terrorist hideout and killed a number of terrorists in the area of Arbin, as they have also clashed with terrorists in the area of Jubar and Al-Qabun, killing and injuring many terrorists and destroying their weaponry, while a 3 meters deep tunnel equipped with lighting and ventilation were discovered in the neighborhood of Barzi.
Units of the Syrian army have foiled an attempt made by terrorists to infiltrate to Hama province in Shir al-Jarajme area, killed many of its members, detained others, and confiscated weapons and stolen medicines that were in the possession of the terrorists. Going to Daraa countryside, where engineering units of the Syrian Arab Armed Forces have dismantled 26 Israeli-made mines and other 12 stolen mines and planted them in the vicinity of the mosque of Garfa village to be detonated during Friday's prayer. Dr. Muhammad Tawfiq al-Bujairami passed away aged 75, leaving behind a great and rich legacy in various literary and journalistic domains. More about the deceased in the following.
Throughout a long and eventful career that extended for more than half a century, Dr. Bujairami constituted an inexhaustible source of inspiration for his colleagues and students. The genius character of the late al-Bujairami appeared in several domains. As a translator, he translated more than 13 books from Arabic into English, varying between literature and politics. As a journalist, he started working in the Syrian TV in 1966 and remained as an example of a successful editor and presenter who left lasting imprints through his various programs. The most famous was Jokes from the World. The program started to be transmitted on the Syrian TV since 1966 and lasted until 1971. It was also resumed in 1980, following the return of Dr. Bujairami from Sheffield after obtaining his PhD. He was also worked as chief editor of English news bulletins since 1966. The Syrian and Arab people have also known Dr. Bujairami as a talented actor who played roles in historical drama, especially TV and radio series that shed light on outstanding Arab literary figures. Born in Palestine in 1938, the late al-Bujairami obtained the PhD in English literature from Sheffield University in UK in 1980. Earlier, he got the MA in African literature in 1974 from the same university. He worked in teaching poetry, literary criticism, translation and comparative literature at the Department of English Language at Damascus University. He also supervised several MA and PhD theses. Dr. Bujairami's death constitutes a grave loss to Syrian and Arab people nationwide, and he will always remain alive in the hearts and minds of Syrian and Arab people.
Turkey is still witnessing wide popular demonstrations calling for Erdogan's government to resign against the backdrop of the involvement of officials and ministers in scandals of corruption and bribery, with its many parts are being unfolded. Thousands of Turks gathered in the city of Izmir to protest against the corruption practiced by Erdogan's government, but the police blocked the road leading to the Bismana area. Moreover, Istanbul witnessed demonstrations calling Erdogan's government to resign, but the police fiercely attacked the demonstrators, firing tear gas on them, which resulted in the injury of many, among them female journalists. With this, we end our news for today. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now to the latest in the world of business and market news, but after the break in our economic news.